However, Song of the Siren disjointed the fight and came back in favor of Fnatic.
And we move now into game 2 of our first best of 3 of the night. LV Gaming taking on HGT. And, you know, ZSMJ and company, they looked like they had it in hand or at least turned around at least a time or two in game 1. But in the end, I feel like their composition was problematic. I feel like that's really where they struggled, was just in how they matched up past a certain point of critical mass on the Terror Blade, which did get a ridiculous amount of farm. Not to say, though, that there wasn't some great play from the rest of the squad on LV. There definitely was. Now, game 2, they're going to look to knot things up, and of course, LV wants to close it out. LV leads Disruptor, Bristleback, and Ember Spirit in the first 3 slots, Skyrath Mage, and Centaur Warrunner. The first 2 picks from HGT. To break down the draft and lend his insight and analysis, welcome in once again, Trouf. Trouf, man, game 1 was fun to watch, but it had a feeling of inevitability to it, at least to me. Like, it felt like, well, Terrorblade's too big, and you probably aren't going to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, possibly. Let me make sure I'm not muted. Okay, good.
You're not. You're good.
Yeah, possibly. I thought that there was a good opening there for HGT. They were looking promising in certain fights. Throughout nighttime with the extra vision they had from Ag's Night Stalker, they were taking the appropriate fights, dodging most ganks from Bat. Because they had the extra vision, I saw like 2 or 3 different times where Bat would go in for lasso and the Ogre would stun immediately. But yeah, it did just get to that point where TV was so farmed. Again, I thought they could have got a little bit more aggressive at the end, but that's neither here nor there anymore. And just watch out again for this game from ZYF specifically. I mean, that guy had such a horrible start, a weird, awkward lane, got forced to move around, and had pretty much the highest net worth from about minute 8 on. So
right.
Really fantastic player. Watch ZYF again because it was very impressive stuff.
Taking a look at how the drafts are shaping up, couple things stand out immediately. Couple of picks into other picks that are a little ballsy. Ember Spirit picked into a Skyrath Mage, and Skyrath, of course, with Ancient Seal, one of the best heroes even after the nerf. Slight cooldown added to it. One of the best at locking an Ember Spirit down, especially early before he farms up a lot of items when he is particularly susceptible to being ganked and to being brought down. And the Brewmaster being picked into the Disruptor. Now, there is no really dedicated stun at all on the side of LV Gaming right now. You have Searing Change, and that's got a certain amount of value to it. But I feel like if they just add 1 or 2 nice lead-off stunners to their team, not bad with the Cask, I suppose, with the Witch Doctor, and you're able to get down a Static Storm and a Kinetic Field on top of the Brew, that really complicates things for him. But both teams, I feel like, drafting to their own strengths and not giving a whole lot of thought, at least until the second phase here, and what they're going to be up against on the other side.
Well, the Chinese team still really love their Ember Spirit, and I have to say it's not my cup of tea, it's not my personal favorite, but they do value it very highly. I'm curious to see how they lane it, is the question. Because you mentioned the Skyrath is quite good against Ember. If the shield is not up, Centaur just destroys him.
Oh, man.
But as long as the shield is up, he should be fine. I think Ember Spirit's quite good also against Brew, just because it's easy to get away from him once he ulties. If you have a Remnant away, that's very simple. I like Witch Doctor. We don't see Witch Doctor Disruptor, this duo of supports, very often, if at all. But I think a setup stun is nice from Cask. It can really be annoying if you have someone else in the way. Next to Centaur, even if with Stampede, you can just get still stun locked if the casks are placed in a perfect way. So that's very effective. So yeah, and then the Bristleback pickup, which was in the first 2, very interesting for them. It's quite good against Centaur in the sense without Stampede, he's boned. Like he has to activate a Stampede for what? What is it? It's a common spell of the viscous nasal goo,
right?
Which is not something you want to be stampeding away from. So in that sense, Bristleback's a decent counter to Centaur.
Well, there are a couple of cool interactions that stand out to me. First and foremost, you have the fact that, and it wasn't until you said it that it really stood out. You want to talk about Centaur being able to blow not just an Ember Spirit up, but any target up. If Ancient Seal, it magnifies magic damage and double edges magic. So you're talking between Skyrath Mage and Centaur, the ability to just wipe any of these heroes, even the Bristle's going to have to watch out for it, off the map very, very quickly, at least until something like a pipe is done. But then you also have the Witch Doctor against the Brewmaster. Witch Doctor's ulti is physical, which means it will be able to target and bring down the Brewmaster aspects as well. So a lot of intricacies going to be at play in between these two teams whenever they do square up 5-on-5.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what LV picks up here last and where they prioritize their farm. If it's a farming Ember or a mid Ember, more times than not in Eastern scene, I would say that they like to prioritize their Ember as a 1 rather than a 2, unless you're playing with IG, where Ferrari 430, who we will see later on after this matchup, but he really likes to play Ember mid. Other than that, most teams I see like to run him as a 1. But then again, let me think about that, because I think LGD runs Yao as the Ember Spirit. He's a mid player, so I could just be talking out of my ass.
I don't know. Ember's one of those heroes that I feel like one reason he does remain popular with some teams is they can draft him and be like, well, we know we can run him mid, or we can just put him as a 1 if we end up wanting to do something else in mid, or if there's some little pocket pick that comes out that we really have to dedicate a mid pick to try to counter and deal with. So, I mean, even when he first came in, one of the a team in the West that did that all the time was Na'Vi, for example. They would pick him, and it doesn't matter when he came out or what the composition looked like. You had no idea if it was going to be Dindy or Havost. And to an extent, that's still true. But the last picks on the way now going to be a Shadow Fiend from LV. So barring a tri-lane Shadow Fiend, which I actually despise, I much prefer tri-lane Ember over tri-lane Shadow Fiend, would imagine it will be the SF going mid.
Yeah, and actually SS not too bad against Brew mid. People forget just how strong of a mid Shadow Fiend is, especially if you give him just a little bit of help. Like, it wouldn't be surprise me in the slightest if they don't run like a quote-unquote like dual lane mid, but if Disruptor comes and just spams the Brewmaster with the Thunderstrike and then just kind of walks away after a couple levels just to get Shadow Fiend like 8 souls, and then Shadow Fiend's just off to the races. So people forget just how strong this hero can be if given just a little bit of an edge or a little bit of a good start as far as getting those souls up.
10 seconds
I feel like HGT has the option here to try to go aggressive. And no, the opposite. We're going to see the Snake Lady, Medusa, rounding out this lineup. The only agility hero on their entire side. And yeah, let's talk about this Medusa pick. I feel like the hero is actually really strong right now.
Yeah.
Like underrated to the extreme.
I don't know if the possibly underrated, but I've been seeing a lot more teams pick him up lately.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also, actually, it's ZYF playing the Shadow Fiend. So I thought he was like their carry, but most likely going mid. Are they going to
tri-lane him?
Or he is going... I think he's going to actually be safe lane. Okay.
I hate this. It's so rare that you see a tri-lane Shadow Fiend actually work out the way you think it will. He's so dependent on levels. He's such an excellent solo laner. And I always harken back to a conversation I had with Puppy about it. He hates it too. And basically, if you're going to do this, there are heroes that work much better in this role that scale just as well with farm. Like, there's just no reason to prioritize a Shadow Fiend pick over those heroes.
The weird thing to me is not so much that he's getting farm, it's that I think he does better against Panda than Ember does. I don't think Ember's that good against Panda. Melee versus melee, Panda wins almost every matchup, unless it's a tied. That's pretty much the only one that comes to mind where Panda just kind of comes out even.
Mm-hmm.
So you normally want to put someone with spam against him, like DP or Razor, just generally ranged heroes. And not only is he a ranged hero, but he's a ranged hero with amazing spam. So I find that to be the interesting thing. Are they switching this up? They just pulled him 1, and I see Ember actually walking top. Yeah, they're switching it up. Okay, this is much better.
I agree completely. Both of us, possibly for different reasons, but one thing that he is going to have to be very conscious of, though, is since it is going to be D-try on D-try, the supports on both sides are going to be able to roam very early. And you've got two pretty good pairs that are going to be able to do so. The Disruptor and the Witch Doctor, though, I don't feel like have nearly as much early-level lethality as Kaka on the Earthshaker and, of course, the Skywrath Mage being run by Pretty Haw.
Yep. Good stuff. Bottom lane, what do we got here? The solo Dusa. I actually... The tides have turned because I actually have to restart because I'm lagging my ass off, so I will be right back.
You do that, and while he's doing that, what I just said might be coming into play very early. The Earthshaker and the Skywrath Mage here in mid. They want to make a run. There's a concussive shot to lead. Can he get the clap? He will. Clap and the fissure, however. Demons is there. Cast didn't bounce, though. Oh, the cast didn't bounce to a second target. Demons is doing great body blocking, and ZYF is going to be able to survive just because of it. The fissure was off just a smidgen. Left a little bit of room right here. And he was able to squirt through it. And Demons coming over to body block and bailing him out after an unfortunate cast that did not bounce to another target, even though it looked like the supports were very close. So good early attempt, but they come up short. HGT going to roam Pretty Han Kaka on back down to bottom now. Up in top, it's Dos Equis on this Centaur. He's up against SJQ and DDC for the moment, while Demons staying near mid. Looks like he will be rotating in this direction. And it's going to be a little bit longer, but soon enough, they're going to have a lot of kill potential on him. So he's going to have to play very, very careful. And then, of course, Whisper on the Bristleback going into the off lane up against this tri-lane. I feel like this tri-lane could bone him hard if they're able to get the angle on him. So he has to be very, very careful.
Yep, and I will be right back in just a second. I'm almost there.
No problem. Dos Equis caught with the cast, no bounce, though. Thunderstrike's going to do some damage. Oh, they might be able... One more auto attack. If they get one more auto attack, it'll get him. Oh, no. Never mind. A little too tanky. So, some chance procs on the Stout Shield. Keep him alive. I think if DDC had gotten one more in as well as Demons, it might have been a little closer. But anyway, a lot of damage being done, a lot of close calls. But as of right now, not a single kill on the board. How about we take a look at the CS? The Ember Spirit is at 10, so he's certainly happy about the laning phase. Brewmaster in mid is right there with him. The Medusa down at bottom is doing well, too. The Bristleback at 4, 2 for the Centaur. So it's kind of a, I mean, you look at it, it's very close. It is still very early. I feel like the first team to really roam on mid and have some success is probably going to be able to open up a big lead. Locking down air is going to be hard, even with this invis. Oh, Demons is so close. If he can get a cask off, he has to throw it like, I'm not going to do it now. And now he's going to throw it. He threw it a little late, though. And Kaka was right behind him just in case, so don't know that it would have mattered. But there was a point where there was one creep here, and air was standing like right here. If he threw it, he could have gotten a couple of bounces between, maybe. But anyway, 3 minutes in, roaming continues, but still no blood on the soil. Tralf, you back?
I am back, yes.
Excellent. It's usually just one reconnect, all it takes.
Yep, and how do we? What's going on here so far? Anything crazy? I see a Bristleback that is not getting much down here against the Medusa.
Yep. And the Centaur is doing fairly well because Demons is having to rotate mid quite a lot to make sure ZYF stays protected. They tried to roam on mid basically as soon as you tried to reconnect, and it was a close call, but Demons played well, body blocked, and was there in position to help ZYF out, so no kills yet.
Yep, and Dos Equis only has 2 CS under his belt compared to Whisper, who has 4. So doing a tiny little bit better in terms of CS. Experience is even there. We have a really farmed Dusa as expected compared to a farmed Ember, but Panda is actually pulling ahead of mid, so nothing crazy just yet. Pretty even all across the board.
I feel like if they continue to roam on ZYF, even if they don't kill him, they're going to accomplish their goal. He does have 14 stacks, 15 now in the Necromastery, so his damage quite high, and he should be able to take CS and deny control here in mid. 4-minute rune spawning now will be a bounty at top and a DD at bottom, and it's going to be Kaka who picks this up. He may want to save it for Pretty Haw if he can, and it looks like they're going to chase Whisper away. Oh, wow. First blood up at top. Centaur's been playing right in the middle of the creep wave the entire time, so even though I saw him, I didn't think he would be in trouble. There's going to be a concussive shot and a fissure. Shot it well that time. The damage on Whisper should be there, and they're not going to pursue him. Thought maybe they might think about it, but instead opting to play it safe, still running him back behind his own tower. However, he is going to get a fair amount of XP now.
That's the terrain change actually coming into play right there, because that old Fissure, or the Fissure, if it was the old map, he doesn't have that little, as you're drawing it out, that little room to meander on through there. So, very lucky there for Whisper, and he will be okay for the time being, although they're wrapping around him now.
Yep. No, it's given its take out in this dire off lane. You got this path that can get you out of trouble a lot, but you got a lot of real estate back here in the dark that you have to try to account for and assume they're going to be milling around in. Yep, there's a glimpse. DDC gets kinetic field down, and Dos Equis could be in trouble. SJQ has the flame guard popped. The damage isn't there, and now there's a rotation from Pretty Haw. DDC's in trouble. He's going to be brought down for sure. SJQ has to be careful. Gets off the searing chains and got it on the Dos Equis, but can't follow it up. And there's going to be at least, nope, never mind. Not going to spin the arcane bolt. But nonetheless, a return kill on a gank attempt from LV, so make it 1-1.
Yeah, and SJQ was playing the Witch Doctor last game too. I just realized this. And now he's playing the Ember Spirit, so DDC's back on support, I'm assuming? Yeah. So he was playing the clock, so interesting stuff right there. He TP's back, drops the bottle, so he gets the full charges on the bottle, which is great. But nonetheless, they do get a kill there in favor of HG, so that's good. Deuce is farming, and now Shadow Fiend is caught up, as most Shadow Fiends do.
Yep, and this is where, I mean, he's level 6 now. And yep, there's a fissure. The same thing, though, left a little bit of a crack. It was nearly perfect, but not quite. They're going to go ahead and go for this, though. Brew is not level 6, and even if he was, he doesn't have the mana. He's going to die. Tower might get him. Ooh, bottle charge. Going to be enough to keep him alive. Good juggling of the tower aggro to keep him up and standing. And they bring down the Shadow Fiend. So well played there. He cut that so close. And And that's the second time, by the way, what I was talking about. Whenever you were reconnecting, there was a fissure thrown on that initial attempt that hit at the exact same spot and left just a little crack through which he could walk here. And that's what made them miss out on it last time. Same thing that time, too.
Yeah, it's not the easiest to get those fissures unless you're coming in all the way around from this or something like that. And Air is doing his, as you say, best Arteezy impression, because it seems like every single time I watch Arteezy barely get a kill and barely get out, there's a regen rune just saying, "Hey, I'm here, come get me."
I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, so really lucky rune there for Air.
The Arteezy rune. And it's the same thing with Dindy. Anytime Dindy's playing an aggressive hero, he will always find an invis or a haste. Always. Yeah. It's always an invis or a haste that spawns when he needs it. Every single time. It's going to be a 3-man gank. Moving out from HGT. Let's see where they want to head.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we can, or HGT can showcase just how strong this Deuce is with unmitigated free farm. Because this hero is a beast. I've been playing it a lot, and it's very hard to find anything it loses to. The ulti is just so effective, and it's a low cooldown.
Here we go. They're going to go on ZYF in mid. Demons is there. He's cut off, though. There's a good fissure. Didn't miss it that time. Let's see if they can follow it up. Air is there. Has the split if he wants to use it, and he will. As SJQ came in, he does not have his ulti. He's not level 6. He just fed. Coming into a fight like that was a death sentence, and he ends up dying because he didn't have the remnant. Now ZYF is down. Demons hanging around the back, but there's only so much he can do. He was basically out of mana right from the start. And a big win for HGT that time. Good fissure from Kaka. Not to say he's been throwing necessarily bad ones, just very marginally missed ones. And that time did not miss, cutting Demons off and not allowing him to help. And to talk about the Deuce just for a second, it is worth mentioning that ZMS held that thought. A little bit of action in mid. Kaka's there. Enchantonum stop. There's a fissure blocked off DDC. They may get him. Missed him with the Enchantonum that time. There's a double damage on Dos Equis. Has to pull back, though. Glimpse is mistimed. However, Air comes in and secures a double kill with the clap. ZYF back up, but they're just feeding right now. 6-1 as they are just continuing to churn out kills in mid.
Yeah, they're really outplayed the just how Disruptor works there. He was trying to, if he just kept running away, he would have been glimpsed back, wouldn't have anything to do. But he stayed there in the same position, just traded auto attacks. It forced Disruptor to go backwards, and he had to stay in the same area long enough, and really, really outplayed the Disruptor right there. And there's an 8-minute Blink Dagger for your Panda. And while a straight up 1v1 is, I still think, better for SF, this is the Panda's strength. It doesn't matter. Once you get that ulti, you could pretty much dive him with any kind of support. Actually, even 1v1 straight up, you can just dive him without support.
Feel like really suspect reaction from SJQ. If he was 6, it's a totally different story because he can come in, show his face, and maybe be enough to force them back off. But when he comes into level 5 and he TP'd into right here and then chased someone right here, that's a long way out of the way and into the face of the enemy on a squishy hero with no escape mechanism yet. And he ended up giving up a death he didn't need to. Down the bottom, they're going to congregate. While they do, just want to mention what I was trying to get out earlier. ZSMJ is one of those legendary Dota 1 players that maybe is not as well known to people who've just joined into the Dota scene with Dota 2. But Medusa, during his legendary days in Dota 1, he really was as big as it got at one point and still is to a certain extent in China. But this is one of his marquee heroes. This is the hero that he made his name with.
Yeah, and I like the build he's going for, too. The Mystic Snake. I think there was a thing where Medusa was picked up a lot and no one ever, they skipped the Mystic Snake and we just only get split shot, and I did not like that at all. I think Mystic Snake is too good. The damage that you actually get from the jumps is much higher than the tooltip says at 200.
ZYF walked right upon, silenced down immediately, super dead. Never had a chance. Demons has to try to run again. Air, not going to be able to blink. He's going to be hit with the Mystic Flare. No!
That's the nerf.
Yep, it definitely is. That damage would have been enough to bring him down, but it literally 0.2 of a second is all the extra time they needed. There's going to be Stampede. Good Static Storm, though. Air's caught in. Does have the mana to split if he can get out of it. Behind that, that's an unfortunate pause. Holy moly.
He DC'd, yeah.
That's unfortunate. So we'll be coming right back into a hot LZ for everyone in this battle. And this is getting to make or break territory for LV. It's rare you say that at 10 or 11 minutes in. But now, let's see, how many times the Shadow Fiend died? 3. So he's died 3 times. You have next to no farm on anyone on your team. The Ember Spirit gave up 1 death. He's probably the most farms you have on your squad, and he is at 4,000. But the Shadow Fiend is behind. The Ember Spirit is not where he wants to be. Deuce is getting fat, and you're behind 7-1 right now. They need a win desperately, and unfortunately, it looks like Pretty Haw is going to be dropping in just a moment. DDC is going to be dropping as well, and LV has a chance to build on this if they want, but HGT, if they can get this Panda split off, I think is going to be in a good position in this fight.
Yeah, they can. He can just walk up a little bit further to where it won't be silenced. And well, DDC's, yeah, as you mentioned, 100% dead. I'm wondering how much longer SJQ can live, because he just popped the Flame Guard. It's level 3, so it's going to protect from a decent amount of magic damage. And there's one more Fissure from Kaka. He actually doesn't have the mana now, but the clarity is helping him in that regard. And the scary thing is the Witch Doctor just ported out, so they do not have help from him. The question is how tanky can SJQ be, and how much can Whisper do in this fight? I mean, he's full everything. Now we can see just how effective this Bristleback pick is going to be. I don't think he's going to die very, very quickly.
If you get a chance, check out the stream when it comes up at 2 minutes, Trout. I've got a pretty cool little picture frame, like an action shot. Mm-hmm. It's kind of sweet. Like if you zoom in using the showcase mode.
Oh, right.
I've got Disruptor with his hammer back and like a big burst of light below him, and the Skywrath Mage. Yeah, it's kind of sick. Not gonna lie.
Can I do it in game or?
Yeah, do it in game. You can do it in game.
Which
yourself.
one do I click on? Disruptor.
Go to the click on the Disruptor, and then go to Portrait, and then just kind of angle it so you can get a view on him and the Skywrath. And there's not too many bad angles. There's one in particular. It's pretty cool, like this right here.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of sick. It's what I do during pauses in pubs too.
You can see the Ember Spirit in the background, like doing his best. Like weird dance or something. Like he's got his leg up, like crossed, and his arms up, like, hey. You see that? Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah. I definitely am. The Brewmaster too is kind of looking on.
That's what it looks like.
All right, how about we talk about real Dota and not the Dota that plays out in our own minds during pauses. 10 minutes in, and this battle, we'll have to see. The Brew's the one we want to watch. He has to get out of the Static Storm. He'll be walking out right now. In the meantime, DDC comes back in. He survives a little bit longer than you would have expected. Air does get off the split. Now let's see if they got the reaction. Beautiful Fissure. Catches at least the Bristleback. He's going to be tossed in the air by the Storm aspect. They don't want to re-engage, though. I thought they would. There's going to be a glimpse that's going to end up bringing Dos Equis back. That's a very low DDC who's hanging around and taking chances. In the meantime, SJQ wanted to pursue, unable to get close enough for the Searing Chain. So it ends up being one death on the side of HGT. And honestly, for LV, I don't think that's that bad. I thought that was going to go much worse for them. So just getting one marginal kill is well worth it, so long as everybody else gets away.
The Disruptor lived, man. I don't know how, but he did. So, I don't know if the Fissure hit him. I think it cut off others, but I don't know if it actually hit him. Mm-hmm. It must not have, because he was like 50 HP throughout that. So nice fight for LV.
It hit the Bristle and the Ember, and then the Ember rimmed it away.
Right, yeah. So nice fight for LV, and despite them being down 2-7, this Shadow Fiend is vastly out-farming the Panda. I mean, Panda has his core item, which is the Blink, and has 3 kills. I imagine they're actually pretty even as far as net worth is concerned. No, actually, Panda's much higher just because of the kills, but I always look at the CS for like 12 minutes or something, and he's got double his CS, but yeah, he's still farming well. They stacked some Ancients, so Whisper's going to clear those out, get some extra farm for him. The question still is how much can ZSMJ carry with this Dusa with free farm? He's going to have a Lincoln's at around 14 minutes, which is good for him. Although I don't know if Lincoln's was the. I mean, it's actually really good against the Disruptor, but you're still going to get silenced from the Disruptor ult. The Nasal Goo will take it off very easily. I wonder if he should have went more of a farming item, like first item Manta or Yasha into something else. I don't know. I'm not sold. I mean, Lincoln's is good, but I don't know if it's that good this game. At least this early on.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, in full disclosure, I was not a big Dota 1 guy myself. This is just, you hang around the scene and talk to people long enough, you learn the backstories on a lot of players. The legend of ZSMJ's Medusa was a rapier Medusa, BT dubs. It's like, I won't say standard, but it was something he apparently did very frequently, and one of the things that made him famous in China.
Oh, Deuce is in trouble.
And, yep, he's going to use his ulti. There's a glimpse to bring him back. And Static Storm does go down. In the meantime, the ulti went off. Everyone... okay. They can't touch him. Stampede helps, certainly. DDC going to be silenced, hit with the Mystic Flare as well. A Searing Chain's actually on a pretty Haw. Is there going to be a follow-up? Whoa, getting way far out there. Here comes the rest of the team. There's the blink and the clap and the split to follow. SJQ has to run. ZYF bottling back up. DDC is going to die immediately. Witch Doctor tossed into the air, but oh, good fissure. Actually caught one. Thought it got Whisper. It didn't. Not that it's going to matter as he looks cut off. ZYF is just lost in the trees. There's an Echo Slam, but not a lot to echo it off of. So the damage minimal at best. Air comes back in after reassembling, and they're going to get the Shadow Fiend again. Now, Dos Equis serving as a buffer in between the Wow, are they really going to come back in? This is ballsy. SJQ is going to get silenced. Whispers there, gets hit with the fissure. Follow it up with the stomp, and now SJQ is going to be hit with the clap. Can he get away? Barely able to rim it behind his own tower. Kinetic field, not in time. Glimpse, very close, but not on point. I don't know what they were thinking trying to re-engage there. The full team was there, and everyone was in good shape, and they just came forward, almost fed two, and definitely fed one. On the bristleback. Now, though, it's 10-2.
I don't think the glimpse helped them at all. If anything, I think it hurt them. Because the ulti was already cast by Dusa, and it just kept slowing them and slowing them. They needed to, like, the glimpse would have been fine after the Centaur ulti, because that's what happened. He glimpsed, Centaur ultied, and then he just ran away. I think, if anything, he should have started off and just tried to free land the kinetic field into a static storm. But you can't initiate onto a Dusa when she gets her ulti off like that. You saw, it's just... That's the biggest thing I think about the Dusa. It's not her ability to farm fast. There's a lot of heroes that can farm fast that can also be played as a carry. It's her ulti, man. It's so freaking good. And it's a 90-second cooldown, which is just amazing.
I mean, that might just be the approach. Like you said, the Lincoln's coming out, very defensive build. We saw just how survivable he is by nature of his hero and the composition the Medusa's up against. But if you go something now like a Scotty, on top of that, before trying to go for pure 100% damage, how are they going to kill her? Like, the Shadow Fiend is not going to be enough on his own. ZYF is still dreaming of a BKB and not even close to it. The Ember Spirit has drums and phase, and if he wants a Battle Fury, he's got a long way to go unless he's got something on the courier, which he does not. So, I mean, she's got all the time in the world, and I don't think HGT's in any mood to rush. They have all the aggressive potential they could ask for from the other four heroes on the team. Brew, Earthshaker, the Skywrath, and the Centaur can just control the map and defend on their own. And that's what we're seeing them do, standing right here in mid. And now they're going to try to collapse on them. DDC off to the flank. Spotted out. Air's right up front now. Oh, good static storm. Let's see if they can bring him down in time. Ulti goes down from the Witch Doctor. Demons with the damage. Got him. He was trying to wind up and get the ulti off. And now they're going to catch DDC. That's a little overkill on a Disruptor. They end up going 1-for-1, but they got the Brew. Problem is, they spent everything just bringing him down, and they have nothing with which to follow. So they end up trading 1-for-1. Bruce certainly a more valuable kill than the Disruptor, but that's not going to be enough with the Dusa continuing to just bully around anyone who runs into him in lane. Now there's going to be a smoke and reprisal from HGT.
Oh, and SJQ, he has a Remnant, but it's not very far away from him, and he's just taking auto attack damage. You got to be careful, buddy. You got to be very careful. He is so close to dying. He needs TP out right now. It's going to be so close, and nope, he's dead.
Got him. And Dos Equis makes it a dominating streak for himself. Double reaction. Whisper hit with the fissure right as he landed. Now he's going to come back in. SJQ bought back, so he better make this count. Pretty Hall not going to be enough. In the meantime, Dos Equis caught inside of the kinetic field. Behind that, Pretty Hall's going to be able to make it away. Echo Slam and another double kill for the Centaur. SJQ off the buyback, not making it count. ZYF is trapped, and Split is back up. ZYF is down. We're going to have the Ember Spirit tossed into the air. This is getting into GG territory as they invested everything into this. And SJQ doesn't have another Remnant for 2 seconds. Can they get anyone on top of him? Blink in just a second. He's going to be coming back down into Dos Equis. If he can time this right, will he be able to? Fissure a little preemptive. Instead, they decide to back off. But look at the damage the Mystic Snake's doing.
He's got him.
Oh, he did go back in. Oh, the tower!
He double-edged
tower
way
got
too
him.
soon. He double-edged first. He needed to auto-attack a couple times. There's some friendly
and SJQ. Yeah. Nonetheless, an unbelievably costly engagement from LV once again, and HGT is just rocking.
Not the best buyback there from SJQ. He got nothing, literally nothing out of it until the very end there. He used his Searing Chains way too early, and as soon as he did on the Skywrath just TP'd, and there was no one else to cancel it. The Cask was trying to cancel it, but it was just way too late. So the buyback was deemed useless, wasted some gold, wasted a lot of time, and wasted map control now as the Dusa gets top tower. So yeah, this is really scary now for LV. There's just not enough farm on specifically... oh, I hear an ulti bottom.
Yep, bottom. Engagements there. DDC got the Static Storm Kinetic Field off. Kaka holding onto the fissure. There's going to be a glimpse back. Demon shows his face. Whisper's heading that way as well. Might have a re-engagement. There's everyone converging that way. There's a fissure that tries to block off the Shadow Fiend. That's actually a heads-up play. They may be able to get him off of the cast, though. There's the ulti as well. And Kaka, it does end up dead. Pretty Haw and ZYF were both heading in that direction. They blocked off ZYF coming up with that fissure. Air's there. Doesn't have his ulti for 15 seconds. And Pretty Haw going to be hemmed in. Gets off some Mystic Flare damage, but not enough on its own. Air might try to chase him down, though. He's got that haste. No, he's going to think better of it. Probably the right call.
He's going for an Aghanims, too. So, interesting build right there. I don't know how effective it is against the Ember specifically, but... And the BKB is going to be up on Shadow Fiend. I don't know if I agree with this. I think the BKB is very good on Brew, especially against a Disruptor, but prefers the Aghanims build, prefers the extra damage since they are ahead, and if they just have the damage, they know that Medusa is going to be able to tank long enough. So, nice bounce back there from LV. Cool little interaction I didn't really notice too much is the negative arm that you get from the viscous nasal goo works well with the Death Ward, which is physical. So once it gets more levels up
and Trouf dropped just for a second. I'm sure he'll be back momentarily. In the meantime, looks like another engagement potentially on the way. SJQ just on the other side of the trees. They're going to try to collapse, and they got ZYF. Brewmaster using the split to try to secure the kill. Wand charges, not many of them. He's going to be tossed in the air by the Storm aspect. In the meantime, the rest are zoning them out. They manage to get him. Fissure there just to help secure it. There's going to be a rock on the DDC. Demons and SJQ are able to reset. Brew probably wants to vacate as he's about to reassemble and be able to blink right here, and does do so. Oh, it's actually going to blink and catch him. Weird little interaction there. Down at bottom, you can see. Yeah. ZSMJ is just a bully, man. He's just shoving people around. And look at this. Like, the Bristle even just can't stand up to him. SJQ's going to show himself and try to get off some Searing Chains. Does manage to do so. Let's see if they got the damage. There's the ulti. Lincoln's is going to be popped. And SJQ playing it well. Now, though, the slow too much. And he becomes a rock. And there's going to be nice glimpse that time into a Static Storm. This will be a huge kill if they can get it. He's tanky. Is he tanky enough? Makes it out. No. Ends up dropping. There was no reaction. They dedicated a whole lot to make it happen in mid. They're swarming the tier 1 in response. And the banter continues. So they end up trading Medusa for a tier 1.
Yeah, I don't know why he came back. Like, he got really greedy right there. His ulti procced on the Ember Spirit, and he's like, okay, I'm going to attack you. But he should have known that he had no more follow-up. He wasn't going to get the damage enough to kill him, so... A little bit of a greedy misstep there by ZSMJ, but a very nice kill. At the very least, they did get the tower in mid. But I think killing Medusa is very good for LV in a mental state, so that they know that he's not immortal yet. So they do have the tools to actually bring him down.
Right. Well, for now, both teams stabilizing a little bit. We can see HGT is running as a group much more often, though. And this is going to help them and hurt them. They need to continue to get kills, otherwise the efficiency of LV will be able to catch up. They do have two very strong cores. The problem I think I have with LV is the more I look at him, the more they feel super glass cannon, which is odd when you say they have a bristleback, and they do. But he's not, I mean, whenever you have two heroes that when locked down just die so quick as the Ember and the Shadow Fiend, he's not going to be able to do damage enough and quickly enough to protect them. So the initiation from HGT is going to be of paramount importance. They've got two unbelievably effective blink initiators in the Brew and the Centaur. And LV is just going to have to, at some point, get on the warpath and start dictating the pace to take that advantage away from HGT, I think.
Yeah, they really need this BKB on Shadow Fiend. Like, they desperately need it. I think the fights will actually be going much better once he does have it. Blink is up onto the Earthshaker, though, and he's actually almost level 11, so Kaka has found some decent farm and levels. And the Panda just makes... It kind of renders Bristleback useless. Bristleback, I think, was picked up in the first two, right? And then I believe Panda was picked up in third. And the whole idea is just that Panda ultis, and then he just throws up Bristleback, and you just ignore him. It's the best way to play against Bristleback, is just ignore him as much as possible.
ZSMJ by himself up front has his Lincoln's pop. There's a fissure, cut, whisper. And they're going to come back in. There's a stomp to follow by Dos Equis. There's a good static storm. Got ZSMJ in the kinetic field as well. They have to fight around the fissure. Big echo slam, though, and the split from the Panda. And let's see if they can make it pay off. SJQ has a remnant. We'll go ahead and throw it and leap to it. Demon's probably not so lucky as he's going to die behind this. Stampede used. And they got Whisper as well. SJQ up on the high ground. ZYF doing what he can to do some damage, but Whisper likely to die before he can make it uphill. Huge ulti, though, from the Shadow Fiend. Dos Equis barely able to escape. And now, oh god, that ulti from ZSMJ once again bailing not just himself out, but HGT. And because of it, they end up going 1 for 3 when it looked like they were going to give up at least 1, if not 2. And they're not out. They're not completely done yet. There's a searing chains on the ZSMJ. Air's there using the Drunken Brawler to come in. Drunken Haze, excuse me. And now ZYF. Oh, he got caught. Caught by the stomp. He's going to die. They lose Centaur in the process. But now the Ember with very little mana can't. Oh, he can get out if he has to. Pretty Hawk's going to end up dying. Then they do not kill the Ember off. Air playing so greedy. Gets a clap off. He may end up giving himself. And he does get glimpsed back. Right back into range of that Death Ward. So a lot of back and forth, a lot of greed on both sides. In the end, it ends with a score of 21-11. Taking a look at the fight recap, we can see it does. It's actually just about a wash across both sides.
Yep, it's actually, the experience is slowly starting to go in favor. Here comes a disruption, a glimpse, but he actually blinks right on time. So nicely played from him. They get this mid tower. I think that's very important. They need this extra bit of map control, but it does look like they're going to pop a glyph. And ZSMJ is already back with full HP. Yet they need to back off right now.
Fissure wound up for it. Yep, there's a stampede. There's a glimpse. Who did he glimpse? Oh, he glimpsed. No, he glimpsed back the Earthshaker. They do manage to catch him. There's going to be the Mystic Flare, but it's dodged. And oh, he caught him up at the high ground. Kaka coming back into the fight. Whisper's so tanky, but they are able to get him. DDC on the outside of that fissure, so they are not going to be able to pursue him back to the tier 2. But they do get a free one, and they do get a good one. And bringing down the Bristleback. I agree with you. I feel like they should have backed off. If they had just backed off, that last fight seemed like such a watershed moment for their composition because they took a fight that HGT initiated fairly well and turned it around. And it looked like they were going to be able to get things back on track. But now not only do they get the tier 1, but they lose the core and they lose the tier 2.
Yeah, Ember Spirit's actually playing quite well in these engagements too. He's knowing his limits, doing a lot of damage with all his spells. ZYF, on the other hand, not that he's playing badly, but he doesn't have much. He doesn't have much to offer with just his BKB. It's a very late BKB. His item progression is just nothing. He's got nothing else coming. And 7 deaths, they've really kept him down this game.
DDC just did something really cheeky that got him killed, though.
What's that?
ZSMJ TP'd down here, and DDC saw him, ran down this way, showed himself, glimpsed the Medusa back to mid, but in the process, the rest of HGT caught up with him. So he ended up dying just to get not even a fountain glimpse, but a tier 2 glimpse. Now Whisper's going to be spotted again by Kaka. Mystic Flare to follow up the fissure. And Tanky, Wand Chargers keep him alive. Just barely, though. Behind that, though, SJQ dodges the split. Will they be able to catch him? He's using every bit of his mana to try and make it to the high ground. He will come, does make it up eventually. So maybe a bit of a wasted split that time from the Brew. Only
they're
got
still
one
catching
with
Whisper. He can get him here.
And there you go. Storm Aspect puts him in the air.
Oh, no!
And they stomp. There's a clap and the fissure. Now they're going to come back out there. They should be able to bring him down. They do, finally. Now there's going to be a Static Storm ulti. Big ulti from ZYF up on the high ground. Air is reassembled, and he's likely to die here. They don't have any help. So the greed again, really biting HGT in the butt. However, speaking of greed, ZSMJ attacking on more farm and pushing by himself down this bottom lane amidst all of it. So it's not as if they gave up those heroes for nothing, but still, they should have just let the Bristle go, man. Would have been fine.
They would have had him, but he threw him up in the air, but when he tried to dispel, the Panda ult went away right at the last second. And so they were all counting on the dispel. You saw there, the concussive shot came out, the blink stomp came out, but these were all missed because they were counting on the dispel, but it went away at the last second. And he still died, but it bought so much time for LV to get everyone back in there. So, it was so close and very unfortunate for Air.
Well, and the thing is on my screen, sometimes the stomp, like the animation goes off, but I don't see the actual impact of it. It looked like he had started to do it and stopped, and it wasn't until he landed and there was no stomp that I realized he actually never used stomp.
Oh, there's
Medusa.
There's an invis here.
Yep, this could get really bad. Ulti will be going off in just a moment. And there's a glimpse, sending one back, actually, and now he's going to reveal himself. Not even going to use the ulti. There's a stomp, though. Got the kinetic field down, not going to be enough to save DDC. SJQ will be thankful for it, though, as he's going to have to retreat. Bristle was heading in that direction as well, but yeah, ZSMJ is having a banner day, man. He's only got 1 kill, but he's been involved in 12 others, and that's because he's done nothing but farm. 210 CS at 28 minutes into this game, and his farm is redonk. He's got 1,700 gold in his pocket right now, 14,000 net worth, despite the fact being involved in very few fights in general.
I actually really like this Crimson. I mean, I've seen Crimson Guard picked up on every Bristleback in the Eastern scene when they pick him up. but I think it's especially good here against the split shot from Dusa. So I'm curious to see exactly how much it will block and how much of a difference it really does make. But on paper, it sounds like it's going to block a shitload, and ZYF is in trouble with dead again.
Speaking of a crap load, PG-13 stream. Speaking of a crap load of damage done right there, as they've just killed him so many times, man. That's his 8th death of this game. He's died 8 times. You can't do that on a Shadow Fiend. He has felt like he's had 0 impact. He's going to Mask of Madness and a BKB in a blink. I mean, he is miles away from ever hitting that critical mass point. DDC is dead. Yep, So, wrong hill to walk up. And mid, SJQ could be a target. He's going to rim it away, though.
Yeah, I will say that at least his item progression isn't as bad as it was like 7 minutes ago, where he had absolutely nothing but a BKB, so... He has some tools to work with. Bottom lane, Whisper in a little bit of trouble. He does have Crimson Guard. They can pop the Panda ulti if they really want to. He's sleeping out, but that is they're just gonna kill him.
And down he goes. LV leads this series 1-0, but the more time that passes, the more it looks like we're going to be going to a game 3, as HGT has, barring a few greedy little mistakes and a little bit of bad luck, largely been in control of this game for about the last 15 minutes. And yeah, they're up to 5 digits in terms of gold lead and a little shy of that in terms of XP. If you're LV, you have a decent composition. You have good late game for the most part. How do you get from A to B? How do you get from where you are right now, feeling like you're about to break, to getting to a point where you feel like you're back to even?
I think the supports need to stop dying, like specifically DDC. He's been feeding up a lot of kills. Like, at least when Shadow Fiend is dying, he's getting a lot of farm right before dying. But not so much the case for DDC. Like, he's had a lot of stupid deaths, but I think just stop giving up these dumb deaths. And actually, if he gets the what's it called? The ult stick, the Ags for DDC, that could be really, really good, because this BKB is going to come out on air. Actually, does he have it? He does. So that's really big for LV. They desperately need this Disruptor Ags ult now.
I feel like they can just slow this down, though. Like, with a Medusa who is this far ahead, if you can just cut the map off, and Whisper engaged upon, there's the Mystic Flare to fall. So dead. Just so dead. And they could do nothing to come back. Dos Equis gets caught trying to back up, but yeah, I mean, like, BKB on the Brew with the Bristle down, they may as well just go Roshan. I don't think LV could stop them. Yeah,
I don't think so either. Like, the Medusa ult's so strong in these engagements too. It's level 3 now, so if they do proc it, they're taking 50% all bonus, or 50% extra physical damage. Sent our ulti, but they're not going to find... were they looking for the Ember?
SJQ, yeah. He rimmed it away.
So at the very least, that's gone, but they know that they're doing Roshan because they see a ward. It doesn't show, but it shows the Centaur just sitting there, so one could only assume that Roshan was being done. I bet Dusa doesn't even take this. Oh no, she probably will. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, who else are going to put it on, really?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And now we're going to have them try to punish them a little bit. There's a glimpse, but he is going to be able to make it back up. Though, nice fissure, blocked off 3 of the 4 that are there. ZYF wants to ulti, and Dusa doesn't care. Just shook it off. Did not care even a little. Got the ulti off, and now Air's coming back in. They're going to try to pursue this out with the Panda ulti. Rock on the DDC. And the rest, I think, are just going to run for the fountain. I don't think they have any intention of trying to fight this. Demons is locked in a corner, eats a stone in the face. Here comes, the Remnant that'll get the Ember back to safety, but believe this one is just about Dunski's.
We'll see. They don't have Dusa ult right now. They don't have Panda ult, so there's a chance they can hold this. Although, really nice Remnant away. That was so close.
I was going to say not they lose their Ember, but like you said, out very quickly. They're going to glyph. It's 24 seconds, 20 seconds each on both of these supports. They don't have the Shadow Fiend ult. They won't for 60 seconds. And I don't know if the Ember's doing enough damage. They're at least going to get the tier 3. We'll see how much they want to hang around. There's a couple of Searing Chains on this SMJ. And Kaka, another 2-man fissure. Not bad. Air comes back in, hits the claps. The SMJ is continuing with that Aegis to play very greedily right up front. And just pecking away at the racks, knowing that anyone who comes close is going to be hit with Split Shot. And yeah, he is just right there. He doesn't care. Taking all of the damage, and everyone's up. I was going to say, does he just want to feed the Aegis? They might try to engage off of it if he does. Does Brew have ulti? Yeah, he's going to drop. There's that. And no, there is no Brew ulti. So I guess they just want to fight just as he comes back up. It's going to be into a static storm. However, he's got ulti now. He's going to be able to use it right now if he wants. Another good two-man stomp. DDC blown up. Demons in trouble as well behind that. Kaka comes in, hits the enchant totem on Whisper. Follow it up with the Echo Slam. GG.
Grr, grr, QQ, grr, grr.
GG indeed. And yeah, what can you say? Like, that was a game that it looked like HGT was going to be in command of pretty much the whole time. They gave a little bit more up than I think they would have liked to in a few instances, but for the most part, a game they dominated from very early on, making space for the Medusa. Finishes at 5-1-15, does the SMJ. 266 CS, 617 GPM for him, by far the highest on the board. Well played. We're going to game 3.
Yeah, I really, really like the Deuce pick here. And not just here, but in general. I think Deuce is so strong right now. It's a carry that does so well in the late stage of the game because if the ult procs, like I said, it increases the damage by so much. Your farming potential is through the roof, but it's also a carry that just doesn't die easily at all. We saw it so many times. They have to expend so much, and they only got 1 kill on her. So fantastically played, and a nice draft from HGT. And really good early aggression right from the start, which provided the Brewmaster to get an 8-minute blink.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Brew with an 8-minute blink. And it's so essential for a team like that. We talked about it during the draft, just how well the 4 heroes, aside from the Medusa, were going to be able to control the map if their items came out. Hell, even the Earthshaker had a well-timed blink, if I'm not mistaken. Like, his wasn't super late.
He did.
Yeah, so you're talking 3 heroes with Blink, Centaur, Brew, Earthshaker, all probably by 16 minutes in, and then a Skywrath who just wandered around with them, silent, slowed, and blew people up with Mystic Flare, and Dusa just basically sat bottom lane for the longest time and farmed his brains out. So, that lineup from LV not working this time. They're going to look to get it back on track as we look now ahead to game number 3. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, guys. The voice on the other line, his name is Trout. You can find us both on Twitter, Facebook, and the such. I'm at AC, at AYESEE, and he's at Tralfdota, TRALFDOTA. Our third game in this series coming up now. Following that, it's going to be, I want to say, I guess about an hour from now, technically, so there probably won't be a lot of downtime between series. We'll be having our second series in the night, and it's one that everyone should be looking forward to. LGD China taking on Invictus Gaming, and a series that could end up dictating the entire top of the Eastern Division. We are going to have a few minutes downtime in between games, as always. Really recommend you check out kingston.com/D2LS5 if you're in the market for a new headset. The HyperX Cloud headset on sale for down from $99.99 to $69.99. It's the headset I use at home. It's the one Tralf has on now, and it's one that'll be very comfortable on your ears as well. So again, kingston.com/D2LS5. Game number 3, LV versus LG.